other strategies that people were using. So just know that these are kind of the differences between all of them and some of the roles you can take on in this industry. Okay, so the second thing I want to go over when we're talking about what the heck an ad manager is what you do versus what your clients actually think you do. Because there's a lot of scope creep when it comes into Facebook ads, funnels, and all of that. Here's one of the big ones that I see is that when we get into what we do versus what our clients actually think we do, this is where we have to have boundaries, and this is what it's important to decide. Are you going to do strategy? Are you going to do the copy? Are you going to do graphics? And are you going to build funnels? Because we need to set those boundaries, and those boundaries should be set in your contract. And when you get on your first welcome call, I call them strategy calls, kickoff calls, whatever you want to call them, that is when these need to be laid out. So for me, if a client says, can you help me with my lead opt-in page? I tell them I can give you some suggestions, but that's out of my scope to help you build out that. And so that's one of the big things that you'll see is if you're not doing the funnel, they'll want help in the funnel. Or, hey, can you read my emails? And I have to say, like, no, I'm sorry. Like, that is not my specialty. My specialty is the traffic. And so making sure that you set those boundaries, because when we come to something that has to do with traffic and funnels, there's a lot of that scope creep. But no, also, if you are going to do funnels, then that is part of your responsibility. So just knowing, taking those that I just went over and the roles that you can have, and then really laying out and knowing like, okay, I will do this, but if I'm a Facebook ad strategist, I'm not necessarily going to work on their funnel, their emails. If I'm a funnel builder, then yes, I'm going to do their ads or funnels, but does that mean I'm also going to do their emails? If I'm just a Facebook ad manager and they ask me for strategy, do I give strategy? Do I not give strategy? In that case, I would give strategy because it helps you. But just knowing like where those boundaries are and setting them with clients, because scope creep is so real when you're doing Facebook ads. And it's really important not to step outside of your scope, because then they're going to expect it more and more and more. Okay, so now this kind of goes hand in hand with the second one, but deciding what responsibilities you're going to take on as an ad manager. And so there's a few elements that come down to it, and that's graphics, that's copy, that's strategy, the actual implementation, reports, funnels. So that could be a funnel audit, that could be emails, whatever it is. And so you need to decide, these are my responsibilities. And I would encourage you to take a piece of paper and write down do not do. So I'm going to say, if they want me to, I do graphics. I say that copy is a collaboration. So when I get on the call with them, and we'll go over this more when we get in the copy, but I tell them like copy has to be a collaboration. So I need your sales funnel done. I need your opt-in page, and I'm going to pull from that, and then I'm going to send you the copy to make sure it sounds like you. I'm going to maybe ask for some other resources, but our copy is a collaboration together, because I know that I'm not a trained copywriter, but I do know the things that work well typically with Facebook ads. So I 100% will do their graphics. The copy is a collaboration. Videos is under my don't do. So I'm not going to, I'll do like a GIF or something, but sometimes they'll ask me to write video script. So can you script my video? And I tell them like, no, like that's not part of my job. But what I can do for you is I can say, I have a layout. So it's like hook, intro, 3 points, call to action. Like I'll tell them that, but I'm not going to script it for them, and I'm not going to make elaborate like animated videos. So that's under my don'ts. I do give them reports, and we'll talk more about reports, but I give reports weekly, so that's something I will do. I do all the strategy. So is that under your do's or don'ts? You can be writing this stuff down now. I do set up all the campaigns and monitor and optimize. So I do all that. I do not build their funnel, do any reviews of emails. I do, however, do a debrief with them after a launch and go over all their stats for them. I will do their conversion on their opt-in page and give suggestions. Because for me, it's if their opt-in page isn't working, then my ads aren't going to work. So I will do that. And I do come up with all their audience building. However, I will not create an offer for them or give them suggestions on their offers because that's outside of my scope. So so if they say, hey, I have this course idea, what do you think of it? I will tell them, I'm not your ICA. I do not know. This is for you to run a beta and get people to pay for it. So I don't give suggestions on offers. I don't give suggestions on copy, on their sales pages, on their opt-ins. That is out of my wheelhouse. And so once you get your do's and don'ts list, this is going to really help set the boundaries of what you are willing to do and what you're not willing to do. And this should be laid out in your contract as well, which will link up in the template library. But it's really, really important that we get so clear on our do's and don'ts and setting those boundaries with our clients from the beginning. But knowing that you can always pivot. You can 100% pivot. So like me, I started off with a lot of those do nots were in my do's. And then I realized, I took on too much. I don't enjoy this. And so now those are in my do nots. So know this list, it can pivot. It will sway as you grow as a manager. But for right now, kind of you may know like, I do not know enough about funnels. So I'm not going to be focused on funnels and put that in your do not. Maybe you do not do graphics. So I know James Wedmore's ad manager does not do graphics or copy. She doesn't. She does ad strategy. She does that. So get really clear on what you do and don't do when it comes to Facebook ads and know that it will change over time. Okay, so now it's time to take action because each of these lessons, each of the modules will have action items that you will want to take action on right now. If you take action after each one, this is where your results add up. Because here's what I know, that we want to skip over foundational pieces. We want to jump to the good stuff. We want to jump to the sexy stuff. But the foundational pieces are so important. And I don't want you to just consume content for the heck of consuming content. If we don't take action, why are we consuming? And so take action after each of these modules, complete them. We'll link up the post in the Facebook group for you to actually post your action items that you have taken and a place for you to ask questions. So the 3 things you're going to take action on after this lesson before you move on to the next lesson is you're going to decide what the roles you want to take on as an ad manager and the roles you do not want to take on. You're going to decide the boundaries you will set with clients and put them in a document. This is not only talking about boundaries such as the do's and don'ts, but also boundaries. How are you going to communicate? Are you going to communicate with them Voxer? Are you going to communicate with them Slack? What are your resources for communication? That's also a boundary. Another boundary would be, are you going to be available on weekends, 9 to 5? Like, what is your schedule? Those are boundaries. And we want to set those boundaries in the beginning with our clients. So what does your work week look like? And when it comes to communication with clients. So writing down these boundaries that you want to establish now in your business. Then you're going to decide what services you'll offer. So are you going to be a Facebook ad strategist? Are you going to be a Facebook ad manager? Are you going to build funnels? Are you going to also offer social media? Like, what does your new packages look like? How are you going to market yourself? Because I know some of you are already providing services. So now that we're adding in Facebook, where do those other services go? So for me, I phased out, I stopped marketing my services as a social media manager and only marketed myself as Facebook ads and funnel builds. Then once I got rid of all my social media, I realized I also didn't want to do funnels. So now all my marketing is just as a Facebook ad strategist. So where do your packages look like now? And what services are you going to be marketing yourself as and for? Is it just going to be Facebook ads or is it going to be other ones? So go on and complete these action items, then click the link below and let us know in the Facebook